Growing up, I really did not pay attention to breast cancer because, I didn't have anyone in my family who had breast cancer. But being an adult now, you realize that, it can happen to anyone. And unfortunately, I was one of the 1 in 8 who got breast cancer. Immediately, I started crying. I felt numb. I felt as if my world was shaken up. The first thought that came to mind was, my days are numbered. I felt like I was staring death in the eyes. My name is Jheanell Barnaby. I am an HR professional, a wife, and the mother of a beautiful 9-year-old girl. I am also a breast cancer survivor. I remember clearly, I was at work when I got the phone call. The doctor called me and asked me to come in. In the back of my head, I knew something was wrong. I wanted to find out what it was, but I was reluctant to go in and find out what it was, kind of scared because I really did not want to hear that it was in fact breast cancer since back then precancerous cells were mentioned. I was diagnosed on April 23rd, 2021 with one of the most common types of breast cancer called invasive ductal carcinoma. My journey started back in 2018 where I discovered that I had a nipple discharge coming from my right breast. I was thinking that this was a breast infection because a few years prior I was breastfeeding and I remember that my daughter was not interested in being fed from that affected breast. So I was just thinking that it was, a blocked milk duct that was causing the infection. I decided to check it out. I went to my gynecologist and he referred me to a surgeon, and the surgeon then decided to do a few lab tests, and the results came back to say that I had precancerous cells in the lining of my milk duct. So at the time, he decided to do a lumpectomy, thinking that that would have corrected the issue. We did a lumpectomy and everything was okay after that. The discharge was gone. I was feeling fine. The breast looked okay and everything was going good. So I went back to the surgeon and he did some physical checks and he also sent me to get a mammogram and an ultrasound done. So the mammogram was clear, but the ultrasound showed a mass, which, they were still saying that they weren't sure what it was. So they referred me to do a biopsy. So I made the schedule to do the needle biopsy, and in about 3 weeks' time, the results came back, which confirmed that it was in fact breast cancer. When the doctor told me that it was breast cancer, right, I asked him, so what's next? What's gonna happen? How are we gonna fix this? And he said that I would need to do chemotherapy as well as radiation. I remember when I started, the first symptom that I had was loss of hair, right? So by the 3rd treatment, I started losing hair. And by the 5th treatment, I decided to go to a barber and shaved it off because it was, a traumatic experience. I did not like seeing the hair on my pillow each morning when I wake up. Support is very fundamental. And I was blessed and lucky enough to have a support team. I'm really grateful for that. My family was there. I remember when I got the news, the first person I called was my husband and I shared it with him, and he reassured me that he would be there for me every step of the way, and whatever I'm going through, then I'm not alone and he would be there. And I really appreciate that. My daughter as well, who was 9 at the time, she showed some level of understanding. She was always rubbing my head. She was always there for me. So anyone who is going through this right now, the support is very important. It will definitely help you on your journey. Sometimes it gets lonely and you need someone to talk to. So even though your family and friends are there, if you could find someone who is going through the same thing as you, then I'd encourage you to connect with those persons so that you can share your experience and so that you can, get along on the journey as best as possible. The NHF card is really, really helpful, and I encourage everyone to, try and get it. It is easy to access. All you need to do is complete the form and have your doctor sign and stamp it, and you take it to the closest location near you. And for me, in less than 10 minutes, I was able to get the card walking out of the office with it ready to be used. And the good thing about it is that you don't have to renew the card. Once you get it, then you are ready to use the card. NHF has been beneficial to me on this journey. I had surgery done last year, November. I did a double mastectomy. I also did radiation, just completed that. And a few of the scans that I did after confirmed that, I am fine and the cancer is gone. Thank you, NHF, for standing with breast cancer warriors.